Smartphones have become really good in recent years. These days, we are seeing incremental updates in hardware and a lot more innovation in software side of things. This should mean that we do not need to frequently update our phones to the latest and the greatest to get a top-tier experience. So, how does a slightly old smartphone actually hold up in 2019? Let's find out by revisiting my previous smartphone, the OnePlus 3T. OnePlus is a well-known name among tech enthusiasts for flagship-level specs at an affordable price. The OnePlus 3T was released in November of 2016, which makes it well over 2 years old at this time. The 3T, in true OnePlus fashion, came with flagship specs at a very affordable cost of around $430. It came with a then top-of-the-line Snapdragon 821 quad-core SoC with 6 GB of RAM and a 5.5-inch 1080p AMOLED display. I got my OnePlus 3T as soon as it was released, and it was my daily driver until about 6 months ago. I revived my unit last week and carried it around to compare it with my current phone, the Pixel 2 XL. The Pixel 2 XL was released over a year ago, but is still very much a current smartphone with all bells and whistles. One thing to note is that I installed a custom build of Android 9 Pie in my OnePlus 3T, but official Android Pie is coming soon. So, how does the OnePlus 3T hold up in 2019? Pretty well actually, which is what I was expecting. Let's go over the good, the okay, and the not so good parts of my experience. Let's start with the positives. First, the performance of the OnePlus 3T is top notch. Day-to-day usage is very fluid and very similar to current flagships. Benchmark scores are only slightly behind newer SoCs and seem to have improved with Android Pie. 6 GB of RAM is plenty, and RAM management has always been good in OnePlus devices. Everything that I use on a regular basis works exactly as I expect, including Google Pay. Also, the build feels so nice. Metal backs have drawbacks, but somehow I prefer metal construction over glass backs, which can break much more easily. Another perk is the headphone jack. I really do miss it on my Pixel 2 XL sometimes. Why Apple, why you do this to us? Anyway, getting back to the 3T, OnePlus is one of the few Android manufacturers who provide long-term software updates, and I am quite happy to see that the OnePlus 3 and 3T will be getting Android Pie soon. Moving on, let's see what is just okay in OnePlus 3T compared to the flagship standards of today. First, the display. The 1080p AMOLED screen on this phone is good, but a long shot from the current generation of flagships. Colors are not as accurate. There seems to be a small gap between the glass and the display, and overall not up to today's standards. Another area is the battery life. Although it has a 3400 mAh battery, it barely lasts a full day under moderate to heavy use. Standby time is good, but it certainly seems to drain faster under use compared to my Pixel 2 XL, which also doesn't have a great battery life to begin with. This could be because of the slightly less efficient processor and also the age of the battery. I'll be doing a teardown and battery replacement of my OnePlus 3T soon, and we'll see whether that affects the battery life. Stay tuned for that video. Finally, the camera is also just okay. Granted, I'm comparing it with one of the best smartphone cameras, but the photos taken using the stock camera app are not that great according to modern standards. So I won't even bother showing them. The good news is that there are Google camera ports available for OnePlus 3 and 3T, which improves the image quality a lot and makes the pictures very usable. I'll link to the Google camera mod in the description below. Feel free to check that out. It also works in a variety of other devices with Snapdragon processors, by the way. Here are a few more samples of the images and videos that I took with the OnePlus 3T and my Pixel 2 XL. Keep in mind that the battery life, display, and the camera are not too bad. They're just not up to today's flagship standards, but are perfectly usable. Finally, there are some things that I really missed on the OnePlus 3T compared to my Pixel 2 XL. In particular, the bezels on this phone are huge by 2019 standards. though I appreciate not having a notch. The notch is one of the main reasons why I stuck to a Pixel 2 XL instead of getting a Pixel 3 XL. I miss the much better speakers on my Pixel 2 XL, though many modern smartphones still skimp on this particular aspect. I also miss the software smarts in the Pixel 2 XL like Smart Screen, though this might come to other devices in the future. Finally, although this might be in the nitpicking realm, I also noticed that the OnePlus 3T gets slightly more warmer to the touch compared to my Pixel 2 XL under moderate to heavy use. So, what did I learn from this exercise? The OnePlus 3T is still very much usable in 2019. Sure, some aspects like the camera and display are just okay, but it was still a very pleasant experience. We are at a point where we don't need to change smartphones frequently to enjoy modern tech. And this leads back to what I was telling in the beginning. More user-facing innovations are happening in the software than hardware side of things. Apart from the new features and security patches, under the hood improvements of the Android system also improves the day-to-day performance significantly. This is also the main reason why I always buy phones which are guaranteed to get software updates down the lane. Most of the hardware perks that we see in today's phones, like NFC, wireless charging, USB-C, great touch sensors, excellent camera sensors, and so on, are present in flagship phones from 2016 and before. So, can a 2016 phone provide a great experience in 2019? Absolutely, if it had good specs back then and is getting software updates so far, and OnePlus 3T ticks both these boxes. If you have a OnePlus 3T, you can keep using it until we have a few more iterations in the hardware and it stops getting software updates. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found it enjoyable and interesting as usual. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Thanks for watching.